Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back. My name is Adam, and today we're going to talk about 5 healthy mindsets that you can start practicing in your life today. And I believe that these mindsets are going to have a few benefits for you. One of those benefits is going to be honoring God. And along with honoring God, I believe that this will actually improve your quality of life, and you'll start to see fruit in your life for implementing some of these mindsets. Now, another thing that I think that will happen as well is you'll start to encourage and lead others around you. I believe that these mindsets are contagious and they really help boost morale for employees and just, again, peers around you. By the way, thank you to all my members. I do appreciate it. You get your name up here in the video. If you'd like to become a member, check out the link below in the description. You'll get access to our Discord community as well and much more. But let's go ahead and hop into the video. The first mindset that I believe that you need to start implementing into your life, if you are not, is you are never above doing any task that is given to you. So what do I mean by this specifically? Well, say for instance, you are a project manager or you're in a position of leadership at your job, and someone asks you to do a job or a task. Is maybe something that you did when you were a lower position at the company. Just a few examples. Again, these are just very small examples. That could be taking out the trash. That could be cleaning the bathroom. That could be cleaning the fridge. That could be just these tasks that maybe you see yourself above. Well, I'm here to tell you that you are never above those tasks, and I believe that you really need to start implementing that in your life. Proverbs 16:18 from the Bible says, "Pride goes before destruction and a haughty spirit before a fall." So haughty, according to the definition, it means scornfully or condescendingly proud. A synonym of that is arrogant, so sort of an arrogant spirit. Pride goes before destruction, and so telling people and saying and living your life that you are above certain things is just a form of pride, and it's something that will come back to bite you, and it will lead to a fall. I can't tell you how many times that I have said, oh, I'm not going to do this, or, I'll never do this. And years later, God humbled me tremendously because I was in that exact position. But when it comes to the specific thing that I'm talking about here, when it comes to you're never above doing a task, you just don't understand how much this actually affects the peers and people around you. This shows your employees, your peers, your friends, your family that you are humble enough to go through something or do something that maybe or seemingly isn't like your responsibility. It's like almost in the army or in sort of like a war setting where if a general was in the front lines with infantry, like the movie Braveheart, that's one of the first things that come to my mind when I think about this. But the movie Braveheart, William Wallace was in the front lines with his soldiers. And when you do something like that, you are leading by example, you are leading from the front. And it is a huge leadership quality to have because it just infects people around you with positive things. It really encourages people. So next time you're at work, or next time, you're at church, or you're in a community and maybe there's a task that doesn't seem very, fitting for your role, or it's just not high enough for your role. Don't look at it like that. Pick up that trash bag, throw it out. Go rake those leaves or something in the yard, whatever it may be. I encourage you to never just ever think that you are above a task. When I'm at church or, at work, if someone asks me to do something, or if I see something that needs to get done, I try my best to do that because I just believe that that shows and speaks volumes to the people around you that you're willing to get down and do the dirty work just like they're doing at that level, even though you may have 20 years more experience and you're not even supposed to be doing that, right? You may be the president of the company, but you know what that shows and tells the people that you have that are starting out. If you're the president of the company and you're willing to do things like that, it's a huge mindset shift that really, I believe, is something you should start practicing today. The second mindset that we're going to talk about today is going along with this, but it's getting your mind off of yourself. Okay, that means selfishness, essentially. If you think about it, we're pretty selfish beings, are we not? We love thinking about ourselves, me included, right? We love thinking about how someone portrays us on social media. We love being so worried about what someone else thinks about us. Everyone is selfish by nature. In today's society, the worldly view is all about doing what's best for you and finding your truth. it's all about you. Okay, well, it's fine to take care of yourself and it's fine to have boundaries, but there's a lot of Bible verses that speak on selfishness, and I'm going to read some of them here for you. So Proverbs 11:25 says, "A generous person will prosper. Whoever refreshes others will be refreshed." Philippians 2:3 says, "Do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit. Rather, in humility, value others above yourselves." 1 Corinthians 10:24 says, "No one should seek their own good, but the good of others." Mark 12:31 says, "The second is this, love your neighbor as yourself. There is no commandment greater than these." Mark 8:34 says, "Then he called the crowd to him along with his disciples and said, 'Whoever wants to be my disciple must deny themselves and take up their cross and follow me.'" I can go on and on about what the Bible teaches about selfishness, but it's clear that we are called to love one another, to serve one another, and to deny one's self. Something that I always think is funny is when someone is afraid about what another person thinks about them, right? And it's so funny to me sometimes because I do this a lot. Like, I'm telling you, I'm not immune to any of this, you guys, but I do this a lot. But it's so funny because in a lot of cases, I believe that that person that you're afraid is judging you or looking at you is actually doing the exact same thing in their mind, which means they're thinking about themselves, you're thinking about yourself, and so you're both not really thinking about what each other looks like. A lot of times I believe that that's what happens because I just believe that a lot of people are selfish in this world, and it's something that is our nature. It's something that is easy to do because we want it to be all about us, but the Bible teaches that it's not all about us, right? So it's something that I believe that if you really get your mind on other people and you start serving other people, you'll be surprised at the joy that this brings you. Because I'll tell you from firsthand experience, something that I found that I love doing is spontaneously being generous to friends by getting them food, gifts, writing them a letter, telling them thank you, just doing random acts of generosity. It brings joy to myself, lasting joy to myself, when I see these things, when they receive these things, and they're just thankful for those kind of gifts and generosity. It's something that I really encourage for you every day to try to get your mind off yourself, because it isn't about you, right? It isn't. So I would encourage that in your life. The third mindset that I want to talk about is attitude and body language, okay? This is one of the things I talked about on my senior speech when I played college football, and it's something I told a lot of the guys and the freshmen there, and it's just how attitude and body language speaks volumes, and it can affect a lot of different things in your life. Your attitude and your body language is one of the things in your life that you can actually control, right? You can't control your circumstances. Sometimes you can't control maybe something that's happened to you, but something that you can always control is your attitude and your body language, okay? So imagine you have a scenario here. Imagine you go up to an employee and ask them to perform a job or task. That employee sighs deeply and visibly looks annoyed and begrudgingly starts doing the task that you told them to do. The whole time that employee has their shoulders slumped, is walking slow, looks like they don't want to talk to anyone. And if you see that employee, can you guess why that employee is doing that? I'll give you guys a second. It's probably because they hate what they are doing right then. They probably don't want to be doing what they are being asked to do. And this circles back to one of our mindsets of you're not above doing any task. But back to the third mindset, what kind of message do you think that this sends to the boss or the person that asked them to do this task? It's probably a message of, they have a bad attitude. But secondly, it shows a lot about a person, okay? Because they are willing to be passive aggressive and show their frustration without actually communicating their issue, okay? Because here's the thing. If you have an issue with that, you need to communicate it, okay? You might not always have the time to communicate that, or it might not always be the right space, but showing visibly that you're just upset and you're not saying anything, it's selfish and it's a sign of disrespect. It says my needs are more important than anything else, right? So I'm gonna mirror that employee with a different employee, right? So what if you asked a different employee the exact same thing and you asked them to do the exact same task, right? That employee said, yes, sir, yes, ma'am. That employee didn't slump or walk slow, but showed purpose doing the task. And then after the task, the employee even asked if there was anything else you needed help with. How drastic is that difference versus the first one? It's pretty drastic. How do you think that would make you feel as their boss if someone did that and showed like that they were, had a purpose, they completed the task well, they had a good attitude about it, and they were asking if they could do anything else? What that does is that encourages you to give them more things to do. That encourages you to trust them. That encourages you to gain respect for them. So who would be more willing to get a promotion? Would it be the first person or the second person, right? It most likely be the second person. Who would you be more willing to trust with a larger responsible task? Probably the second person, right? You see the difference that it makes when you present yourself with a positive body language and attitude. And again, I know that sometimes things suck, okay? Sometimes you don't want to do things, and sometimes you have a bad day and you just can't help it. I get it. We are not perfect in this world. But what I'm saying is these are some things that you can control in your life, and it will make a huge difference. Another example that I can draw for attitude and body language is sports. It's something I relate a lot to. Okay, so you have two different athletes, and the coach asks them both to run scout team on the football team. Well, you have one guy who's going 110% willing to do it, even though it seems like a insignificant thing. Because if you don't know what scout team is, it's basically you're the practice for the starters for the game. That's basically your role. You get them ready for the game, right? The other athlete, though, is complaining the whole time, barely giving any effort, and he sees it as pointless because he wants to start playing and wants to be a starter instead of doing scout team. That player isn't going to go anywhere, though. He's not ready for a more advanced and a higher task because he's not willing to do the basic things. This is something I saw a lot of times when I played college football, was a lot of guys that just gave it their all on scout team, and it really made a difference. It's such a encouragement to see that when you have someone who's just moping around, and that could be at work or in sports or in other scenarios. Mindset number 4 is perspective is everything. Okay, so perspective is another mindset that you can control no matter your circumstance. Okay, I know sometimes that your circumstance may be really bad. It may just not be very favorable. And it can be really hard to look at those circumstances in a different way. And I'm not downplaying, I'm not trying to minimize situations in your life that may be tough, right? I'm not trying to do that. But I am trying to say that shifting perspective can actually change your outlook on a lot of different things. So let's take the most recent example I just gave with football players. Both of these young men chose, keyword chose, to look at their situations differently. One player chose to look at their situation as an opportunity to perform the best that he could at the task he was given, even though on the surface it may seem insignificant. The other player chose to look at the situation from a lens of, this is a waste of time. Okay, this is a waste of my time. I want to start playing immediately. I'm too good to play on scout team. I can tell you as a college football player myself that the first player is going to be starting on the starting 11 9 out of 10 times over that second player. Why? Because he's a team player. He chose to look at his situation in a mature way. He is again willing to do the basic things in order to take on larger tasks. You see, perspective can literally change everything. Again, this is not minimizing your situation or anything like that, but changing your perspective on your situation can show to your coworkers, your friends, your families, your teammates, or any other person that you don't let your circumstances define who you are. It can also lead to more opportunities because you were faithful with maybe something that seemed insignificant. So now you may get a bigger opportunity, quote unquote, to do something else. You may get a promotion, right? Now, the last mindset, number 5, is working hard. Okay. And that might not seem like a mindset to you, but I believe that it is a mindset, and it's something that is influenced to young people and taught at a young age a lot of times. I believe that you cannot really teach how to work hard to someone who is an adult. Okay, so for instance, I believe that when you're at a young age and you have some people influencing you, I believe that the way you're raised is one of the best ways to teach someone hard work. Now, someone gets to being an adult, if their whole life they did not work hard or was not taught that that was an important thing, it is going to be something that you are going to have to learn and shift your mindset on now as an adult. It doesn't mean you can't get to that point, because you can. It's literally just effort. A lot of times people don't give effort or work hard because A, they don't like what they're doing. B, they are not motivated because they don't like what they're doing. C, they're just flat out lazy. Or D, they may have a lot of other things going on and it's really, really hard to get that motivation. But it is something that you can get better at. Something that I will always take with me is my dad always instilled hard work in me since a young age. That is why today that I am a person that will always work hard, and no matter what I do. It's something that he taught me in sports. He would always tell me that whenever I played in soccer or football or whatever it was, he said, you can control your effort and attitude sometimes, but he said, you can control your effort. If you give me 100%, then there's nothing that I'm going to be mad at you about when it comes to that, because you gave it your all, right? And some games I didn't give it my all, and my dad was upset because he's like, Adam, you could have given your all, but you didn't. That's literally all I'm asking you to do. And seeing him work really hard, seeing my grandfather work really hard, it's just something that was instilled to me at a young age, instilled to him at a young age, that I saw him do. And it's just allowed me to have that in everything that I do in life. And I'm telling you right now, working hard is always a great thing to have. Sometimes there's ways that you can work smarter and you might not have to work harder, right? You know the whole saying, but a lot of times I don't think there's anything in life that's worth doing if it's easy, okay? Every time I've tried to do something in my life when it's easy, right? I tried to go for something that was easy. It's never been worth it that I can think of. Getting something that's really rewarding takes a lot of work, and it takes a lot of time invested in doing that. And working hard at your job, at your sport, at college, at your homework, whatever you're doing, working hard will always pay off, because it is honoring to the Lord that you are giving it your all, no matter how bad you are at what you're doing. You may get a C, you may get a B on that test, you may not be the best athlete, but if you're giving it everything you can, that's all you can do. And I can't stress that enough to young men out there and even young women out there. Start learning this mindset. Start shifting your mindset to not be someone that is lazy, okay? Because working hard is something that is seen by peers, it's seen by your boss, it's seen by your parents, your coaches, your mentors, and it will carry you a long way, and it's something that is honoring to God. Now, once again, I do want to emphasize that we aren't going to be perfect in all of these mindsets. I am not perfect with all these at all times, okay? We're not perfect people. No one is perfect, okay? But I do think that if you practice getting in the habit of these mindsets, you really can improve your life and walk in what God is purposing for your life. I also believe that it honors God as well, okay? Because you're stewarding your situation, your job, etc., to the best of your ability. When you say that you're not above any task and you humble yourself, when you get your mind off yourself and serve others, when you change your attitude and your body language, when you change the perspective on how you look at circumstances, and when you work hard, I believe those 5 things can honor God and can also improve your quality of life and help you to have more joy and satisfaction living this life, because this life is not easy. I've had a lot of times in my life where it's not been easy to do these things, okay? But I'm telling you, if you can try to practice these every day, you will see a difference in your life. But if you guys do like this video, make sure to hit the like button, share it with other people as well, subscribe, join our memberships down below. I would really appreciate it. It'd be awesome. I'd love to get to know some of you all in the Discord. But until next time, y'all, I hope you guys have a great evening, afternoon, morning. I'll see you guys later.